We're gonna go ahead and start today's project review committee meeting at 1:32 p.m. Welcome. First off, I'm gonna go ahead and do roll call here for city staff. Myself, Oscar Cepeda, the chairperson for project review committee and also the associate planner within the planning division. We're joined by Claudia Calderon, our community development director and also our zoning administrator. Jeff O'Neill joins us as our city planner. Also in the room from the planning department, Rocio Mejia as our assistant planner. Also Gary Keller as our planning technician. With the engineering department, we're joined by Javier Sanchez, our engineering and project management director. From the fire department, we're joined by Clayton Dignam, our fire marshal. From the building department, we're joined by James Wickersham as our chief building official. From the public works department, we're joined by Robert Alvarez, our field services manager. David Payne also joins us as our water utility superintendent. Brianna Spry joins us as our field services superintendent for refuse. Joe Baeza joins us as our field services superintendent for streets. With the parks department, we're joined by Arthur Demarat as our parks superintendent. And that is all from city staff. Okay, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and open oral communications. This is the opportunity for public members to address the committee on any matter related to project review. Being no members of the public here in person, are there any members of the public online that would like to address the committee on any matter pertaining to project review? All right, hearing. Let's see. All right, hearing no comments, I'm gonna go ahead and close oral communications. For today's agenda, we have two items for today. First item is Project Review Committee number 2025-018. We have the applicant proposing a new commercial development at the Riverwalk Marketplace. The new commercial development is a 4,500 square foot building. Let me go ahead and share my screen here of that project. Oh, there it is. So the property is within a planned development zone district with the general plan land use of retail centers. It is being proposed at the Riverwalk Marketplace. So for comments from planning, I'm gonna go ahead and present those. So the project does comply with our retail centers zone district. It would have to meet the development standards for the Riverwalk Shopping Center. There is a master sign program proposed here, established here for the commercial center. We would just make sure that any future signage complies with those standards. Question is the drive-through facility for the applicant, is the drive-through facility proposed for the Chipotle component of this project?
Yes, for the Chipotle only.
Okay, as far as queuing space, our code does require minimum 6 spaces and it's measured from the menu board.
Yes, it looks like we show 8 here, and if you guys want some data on the Chipotle drive-through, it's much different than a typical Starbucks or other QSRs. It's more of a pickup lane. So if you guys want that, it usually shows no more than a 4-car stack.
Thank you for that. Mm. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty much our major comments from planning. Moving along with our fire department.
So looking at the building that's proposed, it looks like it's gonna be under a 5,000 square foot fire area. Is there a plan to either separate the 2 fire areas? Or can you provide the occupant load for the Chipotle?
We have our architect, Robert Hutchinson, on here. Hey, Robert, would you mind answering that for me?
Based on a preset plan or fit plan that Chipotle has provided, the occupant load seems to be a maximum of 40 people, and that's including seating area and employee area back of house.
Okay, the only reason is the primary trigger would be the square footage. A secondary trigger for fire sprinklers is the occupant load within the fire area. So if Chipotle's occupant load, for example, is 40, then the occupant load for the suite next door would be capped at less than 60 persons to keep the fire area occupant load as a total under 100, unless they sprinklered the building, in which case they could exceed those numbers.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't see the second lease space being anywhere near 60.
Okay. So with that, basically for the fire department, we're gonna need the UL 300 compliant fixed extinguishing system for the cooking of food producing grease laden vapors. Fire extinguishers placed, a Knox box for access, and for the most part, that would be it. Just the address on the building facing the street side, contrasting the colors.
Got it. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you, Clayton. Next with building with James.
Is this gonna come in under a shell permit first, or is this gonna come in all as one with the TI for fully?
This will be a shell permit only, and then Chipotle will submit their TI plans themselves. Same with the second lease space. We just don't have that tenant identified yet.
Right. Okay, at this time, I don't have any comments now.
Thank you, James. Next with engineering with Javier.
Engineer want to have comments on this one?
Thank you, Javier. Next with our Public Works Department, we'll start with Robert.
We'll need separate landscape meter and water services, backflow devices on both. That's it.
Thank you, Robert. Next with Brianna Spry for refuse.
I'll need a 3-bin trash enclosure for this.
Would the proposed location work, Brianna, for you guys?
The only issue I can see is any vehicles coming out of that drive-through. They may be stopped for a minute while it's being serviced. So I don't know if there's a way to maybe scoot it back a little bit. But even then, it wouldn't be a direct stab either.
Are you saying set it back into the existing little landscape area behind it where it is now?
Well, I was thinking move it up a few spaces up into those parking stalls, but
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know if that would completely work either.
Yeah, our thinking with that is that this parcel has more than adequate parking. It's just that the parking right near the building, in front of the building, is a little bit limited, so we want to keep as many of those stalls as we can, and obviously we have to have ADA from the stall to the building, so we don't want that path to become too long. Hey, Robert, do you think three bin work where it's proposed, or will we have to alter it a little bit?
I was able to get to work one space up, but if we have to do 3 bin wide, direct stab will not happen without interference of the island where the transformer is currently. Now, the question of the 3 bin, Chipotle does provide for 5 toters, as you can see, located behind the trash bins themselves. Now, would those qualify for the biodegradables instead of having the 3rd full-size bin?
So we typically don't do that many for a commercial restaurant. We try to stick with the bins just because we'll have, that way it avoids having 2 different, I guess, aspects of our department in your parking lot, and it would just be commercial drivers rather than commercial and residential. And the residential drivers also start at a different time than the commercial guys. So there is the potential for some discrepancy with servicing times because they will not be pulling those cans out. Your staff would have to put them out by 6 a.m. every morning. So it's usually just a more fluid process if it's all bins, commercial bins rather than containers.
Okay, that's something Nate can discuss with the people at Chipotle.
Yeah,
Let them know what the city's views are on that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can talk to Chipotle about that.
Real quick on the bin size, I know that on the organics bin is typically a smaller size than the regular trash and recyclables.
Yes.
Do you guys have a size?
So typically our organics bins are 2 yards.
Okay.
We can go up to 3. We try not to just because they get too heavy. But the standard is a 2 yard.
So Robert, I think as long as you can try to fit the regular 2 3-yard bins in 1 2-yard bin, I think it'll fit in there.
Is there space? And I'm sorry, I don't. Can you scroll up a little bit, Oscar, so I can see kind of the bottom? I'm sorry, the other direction. I guess down. Okay. Well, I was trying to see if there was space just south of the drive-through, but there's not. I think that's Dutch Bros now.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a oddly shaped parcel, which makes
Yes.
trash enclosure a little difficult. I mean, if we didn't have to do the ADA path to the front door, we'd have plenty of space to do it over in all the excess parking, but obviously we have to do that. So it, to me, seems like we're kind of locked into that location for it.
Okay.
And do you have a standard size trash enclosure requirement or someplace where we can find what the minimums are?
Yeah, we can send that over to you.
Okay, great.
But I
Thank
think
you.
that's all I have.
Thank you. Next with Joe, any comments on this project?
No comments from street department.
Thank you, Joe. Next with Arthur with Parks, any comments on this project?
No comments from Parks.
Thank you. So that's our comments on this project preliminary. Are there any questions at this time from the applicant, Nathan?
Yeah, no questions. We'll make sure to get those couple comments you guys had addressed as we start our construction drawings. We're gonna get going on those starting tomorrow. In terms of submitting our CDs to the building department, are the architecturals and the civils submitted together, or are they reviewed separately? And what's that process for each of those? Who's the best contact to reach out to?
They're submitted, together. And, we can provide a, email address for you to submit those to, for our front counters, permit tech stuff.
Okay, perfect. Other than that, we're excited about this project. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
same here.
We're excited also. And just for your information, Nathan, we're gonna be gathering each department staff in a letter and will be mailed out to the applicant within 2 weeks of today's date.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to follow up on one more thing.
Sure.
Are you guys all online submittal, or do you guys still need hard copies of plans?
No, it can be all e-submittal.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then I'm sorry, one more thing I just thought of. Is it
Sure.
safe to assume that review periods per submittal are 30 days? Is that typical?
Commercial is 4 to 6 weeks.
Got it. And then does that decrease as we address the comments usually?
Yeah, if you respond, if there are comments and then you resubmit, we just asked for a response letter stating where each item did get addressed.
Okay.
And whatnot.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. We'll do that. Okay, I think that's all the questions I had. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Moving along with our second item of the agenda, which is PRC 2025-019 Lime Street subdivision. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right, we have the applicant proposing a 95 lot residential subdivision on 2 parcels, totaling 19.33 acres. The site's located between Scenic Drive and Lime Street, north of Mulberry Avenue. The proposed zone district is very low density residential. And has a general plan land use of low density residential. The property is within the hillside overlay district. As far as our preliminary comments from the planning department, it will require to process a tentative subdivision map. There are fees associated with that process. The fees for a subdivision map is $3,004, and there is a per lot fee of $39. This project will require to go through an environmental review. There's also fees associated with that process. The city does have an on-call environmental consultant, which would prepare the environmental document. There are fees associated with the public hearing process that would require noticing and labels for the adjacent properties. The city can prepare that mailing list for a fee of $26.50. The approval of the tentative map would go through a public hearing process. We would require a minimum 10-day in advance to post that hearing notice. Now more in regards to the map itself. The code does require, whenever proposing cul-de-sacs, to provide bicycle and pedestrian pass-through connectivity to the other street. A suggestion could be connecting these cul-de-sacs to the opposite street, or provide a connectivity between.
Cul-de-sac and cul-de-sac.
Yeah, correct.
For pedestrian and bicycle.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Due to the area being in our hillside overlay, there will be a requirement to provide a plot plan, grading plan, topographic plan, a slope analysis of the area. Possibly of an erosion and sedimentation control plan, a landscaping plan, and architectural plans. As far as the development within of those lots, it will be required to comply with our development standards for the low density zone district, which includes setbacks, lot coverage, and so forth. And that'll be my preliminary comments at this time. We do have our city planner with us. If there's anything that I left out, Jeff, that you see?
No, we can just go on, and if there are any other questions, we can take those.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you, Oscar.
Thank you. With that, we'll move along with Javier Sanchez with our engineering department.
Thank you, Oscar. So to expand on that hillside ordinance requirement, the density that is allowed in a hillside is going to be a maximum of 2.4 units per acre, and it's all based on the slope analysis map. You know, it is in chapter 500 of our development ordinance, and there's a table of slopes, and it decreases with every roughly 6% interval, and so 2.4 is the max, and then it just drops to 2.2, 1.8, and so on. And so depending on what the slope is doing, then that'll dictate the density that you are allowed to have. So that is one comment that could significantly change the map, because you currently have 4.6 lots per acre. So it'd be cutting that in half essentially at best. Let me see. And as far as utilities, there is water and sewer in the area. So just be the extension of those lines throughout the subdivision. And then there'll be some frontage improvements along both Lime and Scenic Drive as part of the development. And other than that, those are the main comments from engineering.
Thank you, Javier. Next, with our fire department.
So all single family residences is a proposal.
Correct.
So fire hydrant spacing will be a maximum of 500 feet. That would be measured out of the hose lays as opposed to a straight line or radius. We'll need to maintain the 2 points of entry and exit. The water system will have to be looped through there. Okay. So we'll have to tie in at more than 1 point. And then for grading, per the fire code, the maximum grade is 10%, and then 5% side slope. So no more than 5% side slope if they have to go sideways. So
Thank you, Clayton.
that you got just a significant drop off there off of Lime, so that'll have to be calculated in to get the grade.
Okay, off of scenic.
Sorry, off of the scenic side, yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at it upside down. Yes, the scenic side, yes, there's a significant drop there. Taking that into consideration. And that's it for me, unless you have any questions.
No, I think that's great. Thanks, Clayton.
Thank you, Clayton. James,
No comments.
thank you, James. Next with Robert.
No comment.
Thank you, Robert. Brianna, any comments from refuse?
No, I have no comments.
Thank you. Joe, any comments from streets?
No comments.
Thank you. David, any comments for water?
None from water either, thanks.
Thank you. Next with our Parks Department with Arthur. Any comments?
Yesterday I went out there and visited the site and I noticed on the Lime Street side, there's low hanging communication lines and that if there's gonna be any landscaping put there that we know what type of trees getting put in. If no trees, bushes, that'd be great.
Thank you, Arthur. And just a comment to add, since we are proposing a subdivision, there will be a requirement to provide some type of parkland as part of the subdivision map.
Oscar, where could I find that standard? Would that be in your?
I know we did an update to that standard, Javier.
Right, we can share that, right? It's just a table of fees and then associated park dedication requirements. So anytime a subdivision has 50 or more lots, both the payment of impact fees and dedication of parklands required. I believe the ratio is 0.0032 acres per. Yeah, 0.0032 acres per unit. So if you had 95 units, which that would be 0.304 acre a requirement for a park.
City-owned park?
It would be maintained by the subdivision's landscape and lighting district.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. Which with the fees being paid in there as part of the assessments, then the city or its contractor would maintain that, but it's paid through by the owners.
Thank you, Javier.
Mhm.
I think that is all from the departments. Our preliminary comments, as stated on the previous project, we'll be receiving an outline of the department's comments on the project in the letter. Are there any questions at this time from the applicant?
No, John and Michael from Tartaglia Engineering, thanks for having us over. Yeah, thank you.
Right, thank you. With that, that was the last item on today's CRC agenda. I would like to thank everybody for joining us today. And we're gonna go ahead and end today's PRC meeting at 2:01 p.m. Thank you.